What is going on, man? Nick Chubb, Trey White, Matt Milano, now Kirk Cousins is out for the year? I know I talk a lot of bad about the NFL, and I know I expose a lot of their hidden secrets, but that doesn't mean Roger Goodell has to put a hit list out for my men, and that's exactly what I think is going on right now. In all sincerity, Kirk Cousins, that's the biggest blow Minnesota could have taken, honestly. Not sure what they're gonna do. Jacoby Brissett, Ryan Tannehill. Either way, one thing is gonna for surely happen, and that's all the Kirk Cousins doubters will see just how much it's gonna stink when he's not here. Anyway, what is going on, guys? Welcome back to another video, and welcome to my Week 8 NFL reactions. We got a full slate today, so we're just gonna hop right into it after my plugs. Don't forget to use code WyattzWorld on G Fuel or Prize Picks. You can save yourself a discount on any G Fuel products or match up to $100 of your first deposit. But that's all we got. Let's get into our Week 8 reactions. All right, so first game of Week 8 was Thursday Night Football, and it was the Buccaneers at the Bills. I've had time to kind of settle with this game, rewatch some highlights and whatnot, and I've actually come to terms that we played really good. If it wasn't for the mishap of unfortunate events that led to the 8 points in the fourth quarter, like Buffalo dominated Tampa Bay this entire game. Would like to point out that on the Bucs side, Baker Mayfield played a pretty good game, didn't turn the ball over, had 2 touchdowns. And would also like to highlight the fact that Rachaad White, a guy who I notoriously call terrible, has a decent day on the ground and leads the team in receiving when they play the Bills. So I feel like that was just poetic. As far as Buffalo goes, Josh was back, 31 for 40, 324, 2 touchdowns. Did have a pick, whatever. He leads the league in total touchdowns by like 5, so I do not care. Rushing was kind of Receiving was led by Khalil Shakir of all people, but if you also see this, Gabe Davis and Stephon Diggs had 9 receptions apiece. Like, the receivers were on fire, as well as the emergence of Dalton Kincaid. Like I said, man, Buffalo played really well. Offensively, defensively, they got a couple sacks in there, and if they wouldn't have had that series of unfortunate events at the end, it would have been a blowout. All right, next up was the Battle of New York, the Jets versus the Giants. And this game was apparently the most boring game in the history of history. Jets won 13-10, and if we look at the Giants first, Tyrod Taylor threw the ball 7 times for 8 yards. Saquon had 36 carries for 128 yards. The rushing touchdown came from Tommy DeVito. Receiving was obviously horrible as well, but we can't ignore Kayvon Thibodeau's 3-sack day because that was fantastic, so congratulations on that. However, this game will probably be forgotten about very soon. Looking at the Jets, Zach Wilson actually threw for 240. Garrett Wilson had 100 reception yards, and Breece Hall had 76 and a touchdown, which is great because on the ground, he was terrible. I don't know what happened there. I'm assuming people are going to say the O-line is horrible, so I'll go with that. Hang on for Rodgers, guys, because season's still alive. Very, very alive. Next game we got is the 6-2 Jags defeating the Steelers in Pittsburgh. I didn't get to see as much of this game as I would have liked, but it did look like Trevor was slinging it a little bit more than usual, having 292 yards. Feel like he hasn't broken that in a very long time. Etienne had 24 carries for 79 yards, not all that great, but he also did catch 3 passes for 70 yards and a touchdown, so much like Breece Hall, he made up for it. Ridley also had 6 for 83, and Evan Ingram actually led the team today with 10 for 88. Should also be noted that Josh Allen and Trayvon Walker accumulated for 3 sacks. Beautiful sight. Trayvon Walker coming around, Josh Allen still being great, working together. It's a dream team. For those wondering where their points came from, Brandon McManus kicked 12 of them, so there you go. Speaking of Pittsburgh now, Kenny got hurt, so Mitch Trubisky stepped in. He was horrid. Rushing was lousy, and Najee Harris had 7 carries for 13 yards. Just kind of want to highlight that. But at the same time, he had a nice rebuttal in the receiving with 5 for 42. Deontay Johnson led the team 8 for 85. Connor Hayward had 5 for 24, and Pickens only had 1 for 22, but he did have the touchdown. Also, TJ Watt only had half a sack on the day. Does someone want to check on him? Is he okay? I feel like that's insultingly low for him. Next game we got is the Eagles at the Commanders, and man, Philly just can't put these guys away without making it a damn story, can they? Looking at the Commanders first, Sam Howell played another terrific game, man. People are just way too harsh on him when he doesn't do great, but when he does do great, they don't give him any credit. That's 400 yards and 4 touchdowns. Fuck off. Run game was okay, but it doesn't look like they really utilized it all that much, and for receiving on Washington, it was actually led by the guy I was just looking for the other day, and that's Jahan Dotson, who had 8 for 108 and a touchdown. touchdown. Under that, we had Jamison Crowder with 7 for 95 and a touchdown. Then we had Terry for 5 for 63 with a touchdown, Logan Thomas for 6 for 44 and a touchdown, and we still had 2 other guys who had 4 or more receptions on the day. Really sad that their defense folded because, man, that's an offensive showcase. Looking at Philly now, Jalen had a great day, 29 for 38, 319, 4 touchdowns. D Swift ran one in. AJ Brown caught for 130, 2 more touchdowns. Devontae Smith had a great bounce back, 7 for 99 and a touchdown. And for those who missed it, Father Time himself, Julio Jones, had 1 reception for 8 yards and a touchdown. Does look like Philly's defense was a little bit slow to their feet on the day, but Hassan Reddick did get a sack, and Nakobe Dean led the team with 11 tackles. It's a name I haven't heard since he was really drafted, but it'd be cool to see him come around. All right, next game we have is the Rams at the Cowboys, and I don't know what the fuck happened in this game, honestly, other than the fact that the Rams got blown out. Stafford was playing, but then he got hurt, so Brett Rippon had to come in. He obviously didn't do a whole lot. Rushing was led by Royce Freeman for 44 yards. Receiving was led by Darrell Henderson for 54. Jordan Fuller had a pick on the defense, and Aaron Donald had 2 sacks. But those are 2 of about the only positives I can find for Los Angeles during this game. Looking at the Cowboys, we got a different story. For one, I told you we were going to see a Dak attack on offense. 4 touchdowns, elite. Run game, it doesn't really look like they tried to use it a whole lot. I mean, when they did, they used everybody on the team. CD had an enormous day, 12 for 158, 2 touchdowns. Brandon Cooks got a touchdown. Jake Ferguson got a touchdown. And even though it don't look like the defense got a lot when it comes to sacks and picks, Los Angeles' passing stats will tell you the full story. Dallas is back. All right, moving on, we got the Vikings beating the Packers, but at what cost? Because they lost Kirk Cousins. I'm going to talk a little trash here, but Green Bay, I legitimately mean this. I watched the game yesterday. You guys might be the worst team in the league. You are fucking horrible. And not only are you horrible, you're dumb. Why does Matt LaFleur have A.J. Dillon lined up as a receiver on a 3rd and 10 when you guys need to score the most? Doesn't make any sense. Like, your offense it looks so bad. That was the only time I've ever been comfortable watching the Vikings defense. I'm like, no, Green Bay doesn't stand a chance because they literally didn't. Also, not talking trash about the pride and joy of Christian Watson, but if he is this great elite receiver that they were all talking up, why can't he make a play, dude? He literally can't. Yesterday, Jordan Love hit him in the hands with a touchdown pass. Yeah, it was slightly contested, but Christian Watson's hands touched the ball first. He had it in his mitts, and he still couldn't hang on to the ball. Like, Packer fans were upset I did not include him in my top 32 receiver list. Are you fucking kidding me? And then here's the best part of the day. The great Jair Alexander got obliterated by Jordan Addison the entire game. And I know I kind of sound like an asshole because I said I was going to talk a little shit, but this team is legitimately bones, dude. It is horrible. As far as the Vikings go, Kirk was elite until he got hurt. Madison was god-awful. Cam Akers had a nice touchdown run, but other than that, he kind of slowed down too. KJ Osborne led the team, 8 for 99. Hawkinson had 6 for 88 and a touchdown. Addison had 7 for 82 and a touchdown. And Flores had the defense going, recording 4 sacks and an interception on the almighty Green Bay Packers. I will say this, though. Greg Joseph has got to go. Minnesota's kicker, once again, is just ass. I don't know why. That's just a curse or something. And now we got the Falcons at the Titans. And, well, it appears I was very wrong on Mr. Will Levis because he looks like God. No, seriously, like, he looks so fucking good, dude. He doesn't just look like an average rookie quarterback with a deep arm. No, he's throwing laser bombs. And he's only flicking his wrist, too. Like, this guy looks like a damn freak out there. I was stunned. The first deep touchdown he had to D-Hop, I was like, that might have been OPI. I can maybe talk my way out of this one. Then I saw a second one, his third one, and his fourth one, and I was like, holy shit. Like, that is part of the fun in sports, is being wrong, and that, well, it looks like I'm very, very wrong on him. But he might haunt me in my dreams, or come and try to kill me if he sees what I said about him. I don't know. Will Levis, I'm sorry. Peeking at the Falcons just super quick. Heineke got in because Ritter got benched, and Smith claims it's not about his performance, even though Arthur Smith is a fucking liar. Bijan had a touchdown and a good day once he started to get proper carries because Arthur Smith was giving Algier the load for a while. And as far as receiving goes, Kaderil Hodge led the team with 3 for 75, and then it was Drake London and Pitts at 5 for 55 and 3 for 35. Not terrible. Does suck that Grady Jarrett got hurt, and this number 3 overall defense got torched by a rookie, though. That looks bad. Back on the Titans now, super quick. Levis, 238, 4 touchdowns. Derrick Henry went 22 for 101. My dad was right on his prediction there, and D-Hop went 4 for 128 and 3 touchdowns. Be honest, how many people sat him in fantasy? I'm sure there's a lot of them, and they are really hurting today. Also, Tennessee got 6 sacks, which is insane as well, just to point that out. Next up, we got the Patriots at the Dolphins. I didn't watch any of this game, and it pretty much turned out exactly how I imagined it would. Tua had 300 yards, 3 touchdowns. Raheem Mostert ran one in. Jalen Waddle and Tyreek both had a touchdown and combined for 233 yards, it looks like. And how can you forget Jalen Ramsey getting a pick in his first game back? Good job, Mac Jones. Looking at the Pats now, Mac did have 2 touchdowns. One was to Kendrick Bourne, the other was to Juju, actually. 1 reception for 3 yards. Way to be an impact, buddy. Run game was lousy. Kyle Duggar did have a good day, having a sack, a pick, and 6 tackles, but other than him, and Christian Barmore with 1 sack, it doesn't look like they did anything to stop Miami. Good job, Bill. Moving on, we got the Saints at the Colts, where the Saints bounce back with a 38-point win. Again, the most unpredictable team in the league continues to be the most unpredictable team in the league. Looking at the Saints offense, Derek Carr threw for 310, 2 touchdowns. One went to Rashid Shaheed, who had 3 receptions for 153 yards, of course, and then the other one went to Kamara, who had 4 for 51. Rushing was all over the place here. Kamara having 17 carries for only 60 yards, but a touchdown, and Taysom Hill having 9 for 63 and 2 touchdowns. That's the most Saints thing ever. And it also looks like New Orleans' pick came from Paulson Adebo, whoever the fuck that is. Speaking at the Colts, Minshew had 2 touchdowns for 213 yards, but he did have a pick. JT had 95 yards, but the touchdown went to Zach Moss. And the leading receiver was, of course, the rookie Josh Downs with 7 for 72, but Pittman and Ogletree were the 2 to haul in touchdowns. And then followed by the rest of the team, who looks like they got about 1 reception each. Defensively, it doesn't look like they did a whole lot, though. DeForest Buckner had the solo sack of the day, and as you can see, they allowed 38 points, so there's not a lot to compliment. Now we're on to the Texans at the Panthers, where the Panthers got their first win of the season by 2 points, 13-15. Didn't watch this game at all, but to compare the quarterbacks, Bryce Young had 235 yards and 1 touchdown. CJ Stroud only had 140 yards and no touchdowns. Not saying who's better here, but today Bryce won the war. As far as players to highlight in this game, definitely not Chuba Hubbard. He continues to suck. Miles Sanders continues to get no action. And Adam Thielen continues to pave the way at 8 receptions for 72 yards because he is indeed timeless. Looking at the Texans, yeah, they did really nothing. CJ didn't throw for shit. The rushing was lousy, although that's where their 2 touchdowns came from. And even though their defense did acquire, I think, 7 sacks total, maybe it was only 6, they clearly weren't able to do anything and capitalize with them. Good job, Carolina, and Houston, I hope this is not a post-bye week descend for you. Moving on, we had the Browns at the Seahawks, and I was right. The Seahawks finally put an end to the backyard football nonsense that the Cleveland Browns have been playing like since Deshaun Watson's been out. And that's not me talking shit, man. That's just me being honest. With PJ Walker, the Browns look like a circus. Highlight a few players on the Browns side. PJ turned the ball over twice. Kareem had a rushing touchdown. Amari Cooper caught 6 for 89. David Njoku had 4 for 77 and a touchdown. Myles Garrett had a sack, and it looks like the Cleveland D came up with 2 picks. So they were still disruptive, but just not resistant. Speaking at Seattle now, Geno turned the ball over twice again. He's definitely having a descend on the year, which I kind of called too, but he's still playing a fair game because he did throw for 254. He did link up with Lockett for a touchdown. He did link up with Jackson Smith for a touchdown. He threw to DK for 60 yards. And on top of that, he had the running game to back him up on the day, where Kenneth Walker ran 8 for 66 and Zach Charbonnet had 5 for 53. Oh, looks like they had 3 sacks and 2 picks here, and the picks came from Julian Love and Tariq Woolen. Good shit, Seattle. Good shit. Now we got the Bengals at the 49ers. Damn, San Fran, I have not heard or seen a fan of your team in 3 weeks, and I'm serious. You guys lose and you fucking disappear. Frauds! Real quick to look at their offense, though. Purdy had actually a decent day for as bad as it may look with his 2 picks. He threw for 365 yards, 1 touchdown. Kittle had 9 receptions for 149. Ayuk had 5 for 109. McCaffrey had 6 for 64. Also scoring 2 touchdowns, 1 on the ground and 1 through the air. I think that's like 15 games in a row for him now. Also, Eric Armstead had a 2-sack day too, which was big. But that's about all the effort they put into stopping the Cincinnati offense because they didn't really have much else to account for. Looking at the Bengals, Joey B went 28 for 32, 283 for 3 touchdowns. That is surgical. Mixon had a good day, 16 for 87 and a touchdown. Jamar had a good day, 10 for 100 and a touchdown. Tyler Boyd caught a touchdown, as well as Sam Hubbard and Trey Hendrickson getting sacks on the day. Cincinnati, sorry for ever writing you guys off, but I'm back, and I guarantee you guys are going to beat the Bills this week. I'm going to pick you. All right, now we got the Chiefs at the Broncos. I already know the Chief fans are going to be typing, Patrick was sick, he was sick, stop teasing us. I don't give a fuck, he played, you guys got your ass kicked, and you look like shit in the process. Russell Wilson, 12 for 19, 114, 3 touchdowns. Jerry Jeudy, 2 for 50 and a touchdown. Cortland Sutton, 2 for 29 and a touchdown. Javonte caught a touchdown. And the 2 picks off Mahomes came from Jaquan McMillan and Justin Simmons. Damn, man, I am so happy for the Broncos. Never too late to turn it around either. And you guys just beat a team you haven't beaten forever. Like, that must feel good. Have a great week, Denver fans. In Kansas City, just one more time. All right, now we got the Ravens at the Cardinals. Baltimore can thank Gus Edwards for this one because without him, they don't win. Looking at Baltimore here, Lamar, 18 for 27, 157, 1 touchdown. You know, not that great. Touchdown was to Mark Andrews. Justice Hill also tied Andrews with the lead in receiving with 40 yards. The receiving game, it just wasn't flowing. But like I said, Gus Edwards won them the game because he had 19 carries for 80 yards and 3 touchdowns. Speaking at Arizona, just real quick, Dobbs went 208, 2 touchdowns, 2 picks, and it should be noted that he is also starting the next game. I believe Gannon has already confirmed that. As far as rushing goes, it looks like Emari DeMercado did a decent job, 20 for 78, and Josh Dobbs had a rushing touchdown. Not sure when Connor's going to be back. And the leading receiver of the day was Trey McBride, who caught 10 receptions for 97 yards and a touchdown. Wow. Anybody who picked him up in fantasy is probably a happy person, if you had the balls to. And finally, ending the week 1 reactions for today, we had Sunday Night Football. It was the Bears at the Chargers, and I watched this game up until about, I don't know, 2 minutes into the second quarter, and I was done. Baggett looks fucking terrible. They couldn't run for anything. Cole Kmet was the only receiver on the day, which I didn't even get to see any of those yards, really. And Chicago's defense laid down and got ran over by a train. I don't know how they haven't fired everybody in the office yet today. As far as the Chargers goes, it looks like Herbert was back on his money, not really missing. 31 for 40, 298, 3 touchdowns. The run game was absolutely horrible, which is shocking to see, especially coming out of Eckler. However, Eckler bounced right back, catching 7 passes for 94 yards and a touchdown. Also want to point out Quentin Johnson finally did something, which is wild. Derwin had a pick, Bosa had a sack, Cameron Dicker kicked 12 points, and I'm pretty sure the Chargers flag football team that they run at the church every Sunday could have beaten the Bears that they faced last night. What a horrible Sunday night game. And that is going to be it for my week 8 reactions, everybody. I'm going to make this outro super fast because this video is going to be really long. So show any support you guys can. You know I try to post every single day, but with everything I just said, I'm going to get this edited so you guys can watch it on time. Have a great Monday. I will see you in the next video.